Hey everybody, and welcome back to another JoAnna's point of view. This is my July 12th show, and today I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things. Namely, I want to talk about relatives that take advantage of the fact that they're your relative. You know what I mean? Like, you know how some people will try to get away with the most because they're related to you. I have so many people like that in my life. I've had so many friends like that, but it's even worse with family, because how do you confront a family member and tell them, you got me fucked up? You know what I mean? Like, especially if it's a family member that, you know, y'all do a lot for each other, but they just take advantage when it's you doing something for them. I'm going to give y'all an example. I have a relative, and I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to put anybody on blast. I just want to talk about it and get y'all's opinion about it, okay? So we're not going to do all the name calling and everything. I'm not going to do that. But I will say, I have a relative that sometimes when I've done my shopping for the month and I have some extra food stamps, that I sometimes let them, you know, get some of the food stamps, right? And I know that y'all are familiar with how the food stamp exchange program goes. And usually the way that it goes is, whatever you have, you know, left, that person gives you half of that amount, and then they take that amount. That's how it usually goes. And it's usually a one-day exchange. Like, people don't usually take your card home for days and days at a time and stuff like that. It usually doesn't happen that way. But this particular relative wanted to buy some, you know, what I have left over, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I have $150 left, so you can get that. That'd be $75, right? Cool. Well, I asked the person, when are you coming to get the card? Because I have things to do and I don't want to be sitting waiting around the house. Oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to be there in the morning. Doesn't show up until the afternoon. Oh, can I bring your money back? Because, you know, I just don't want to have to stop and get cash and bring it to you and then go get the stuff and then come back and bring the card. I just bring it back when I do it. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. Goes and does the shopping, and instead of spending $150 and bringing me back $75 like what we agreed on, I think she only spent like $130. So she brought me back $65. Now usually it'd be like, you know, that's not a big deal, and it wasn't really a big deal, but it's like, you know what the etiquette is for this exchange. Like, why is it that you feel that you are the person that gets to take these liberties that other people know better than to try? Like, if you're supposed to get $150 and bring me back $75, spend $150. Or even if you don't, you still need to bring me back $75, because that's what we agreed on. You can't just spend what you want and then just give me what you want to give me. But this particular relative does things like that a lot. And I am not confrontational, even though I have a loud personality and I have a boisterous personality. I do not enjoy confrontation. First of all, I don't like talking that much. This show right here is the most talking that I do all week. And that is dead ass serious. My son is my camera person, he could tell you. This show is the most talking that I do all week. So I don't like confrontation, especially when I know that it's going to be a long discussion. And honestly, I don't feel like being insulted, because I know that I would have to literally walk this person through exactly why they got me fucked up. And they're not even a receptive person. You know, they don't take, I would say, even conversation well. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I shouldn't even have to say these things. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff is like, etiquette that people know about. Like, since they were selling food stamps, paper food stamps, people know what the etiquette is. But this particular relative never ever does right. And another thing, I have my card, this relative has their card, but we always try to make sure that, if one of us, I try to make sure that if I'm going out of town, I have 2 children that ride with me. So I want to make sure that, this relative knows. So if anything happens, I can call and be like, hey, something happened. And, like, you just want to make sure somebody knows where you are. But there's no reciprocity with that either, with this relative. Like, she habitually goes out of town, doesn't tell me, but when I do it, she's upset. I need to know what's going on with you, so I need to know if anything happened. You know what I mean? Like, for her, it's upsetting when I go out of town and don't tell her, because she wants to make sure that I'm safe, the children are safe, and so forth. Well, I want to know the same thing, because you're a relative and I care about you as well. But this person never tells me. And I don't know. It's like getting to the point that y'all have heard me talk about reciprocity so many times on this show. It's a give and take. You have to be willing to give as much as you want to receive. And if you want somebody to have a certain regard for you and what goes on with you in your life and how you feel, then you should also have that same regard for them. And it's never that way. And it kind of gets old and tiring to even continue to talk about, because this isn't the first time. This has been a conversation long before. But it seems she's a habitual offender. Like, she doesn't get it. And, whenever you have that, kind of conversation where, like, okay, well, this is something that you did that upset me. That's exactly how I would come at this person. Even tone, like, I just want to talk to you about something that upset me. And then I say it, and the person that I'm talking to immediately gets defensive. They immediately get defensive. They want to start defending themselves. And now it becomes a fight of, let me rebut what you just said, instead of let me listen to you and actually hear you and try to get an understanding of what it is that you're telling me. It now becomes a kind of a tit for tat type of thing where, well, you did this, well, you did this. I'm 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have that kind of conversation with anybody, let alone a relative, especially when I'm trying to tell them that, listen, these are some things that you do that really bother me, and I really want the behavior to be corrected because you are important to me, and I don't want to have any division, between us when, you're one of the few relatives that I even fuck with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a real familiar type of person. I don't need the whole family, and I don't need that. I really don't. So this is one of the people that is important to me and that I care immensely for. But it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting when it's like, I don't understand how you don't understand. Especially when I've said it several times and I've broken it down several times. It's ill received every time. It's ill received. It's received like an attack instead of just, let me listen to the explanation of how I hurt this person so that I can correct the behavior and we can move on from it. We never get to that point, ever. We literally start talking again like nothing ever happened after going like a few weeks without speaking to each other. And that's childish too, because we're both in our mid to late 30s. It shouldn't be like that. Like, we're related for real in real life. Like, I had a blood test. I know it for sure. I don't want to argue with you. I just don't want to feel like I'm always getting taken advantage of. And I'm always being asked to do more than a person is willing to do for me. You know what I mean? Like, even something as simple as telling somebody I'm going out of town. Well, why the fuck do I need to? Because when you do it, I hear about it when you're on your way back into town. Not when you're on your way there. I hear about it when you're on your way back. Anything could happen to you while you're out there. You don't think I want to know where the hell you were so I can get to you and try to help? You know what I mean? It's never reciprocated. And, you know, it feels like, I don't know how this shit gonna be received, because I know this motherfucker just has no understanding for any type of criticism. They can't take it. They're definitely one of those people that need to be right. That's not me, y'all. I don't need to be right. If I'm wrong, tell me and explain to me how I'm wrong. And once you do that, because I'm going to listen for clarity. And once you do that, if I believe that point is valid, I'm going to say, you know what, you're right. I need to do better. And I will do better. But not everybody feels that way. You know, some people feel like the only thing that matters is what they want and what they need. And you know, I've cut off people for that shit. I have. I mean, seriously, I have cut people off for that, because I've always been a giver. You know, where like I give and give, and I want to give and protect everybody around me. But the people around me, y'all, I'm telling you, these niggas been straight diarrhea shitting on me for 35 goddamn years. It's like, with my lifelong best friend. Man. This is somebody, I would say lifelong. I met this person when I was in the 8th grade. I think you're like what, the 8th grade, you're around 12, 13. So, for that long, from the time I was about 13 years old, up until last year, I consider this person my best friend. And we've always had issues. You know what I mean? And I've always swept them under the rug, because I've seen the way this person had to grow up. And I've seen the way that this person had to pretty much learn how to take care of themselves, even though they were still a child, because the parental figures weren't there. You know, her mom, who I love still to this day immensely. Hey, Miss Nicole. But at the time when we were growing up, her mom was on drugs pretty heavily. And she wasn't fit to really take care of my ex-best friend in the way that a mother should have. So my ex-best friend had to grow up quickly. She had to learn to survive. And when a person is raised on survival instead of love, they become hardened. You know what I mean? When you are raised just to survive the situation, and I'm speaking from experience. I was also the same way. I had a really rough upbringing, and I was massively abused and neglected by my parents. So I understand what can happen to especially a girl that is raised under survival versus raised in love. So, in knowing that, I've always swept a lot of the stuff that this person did to me under the rug, because okay, I know you had it, you had it pretty bad. I know this is something that you don't mean it at the moment. This is how you are right now. So, we taking a whole bunch of breaks from each other throughout this, 20-year relationship or friendship. But I always went back to who I considered to be my best friend, because even though she has done so many things against me, she was one of the few people that was for me when I needed that. you know. So it took up until I was 34 years old to finally stop being friends with her. Because this motherfucker took me and my kids to spend the night at her house, out of town, about an hour out of town from where I'm at. And, you know, we ended up getting into it about something so stupid and something so small. But to her, she puts 100 on 10 all the time. Like something that's only worth 10%, she puts 100 on it. So she's up cussing. I mean, you know, we're still at her house, but she's up cussing me out. She's, you know, talking crazy to my kids. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to deal with this shit. I'm about to go. How you gonna go? You ain't got nothing. You didn't drive down here. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave. Me and my children are gonna leave because I'm not gonna sit at anybody's house and be verbally abused over something so small. And so I got me and my kids, we got dressed, and I'm like, yo, let's walk. Do y'all know this bitch actually let me walk I think it was about a mile me and my kids had to walk to a hospital that was close to there so I could call a damn cab to get us home. And I actually had to spend my last $50 to pay the cab people to take us the other 30 minutes fucking home. I haven't spoken to her since. I take that back. I've seen her. You know, she's came and tried to be, because she moved here. She lives literally right around the corner from me. You know, I actually told her, like, yeah, we need to try to get a house out here so we can help each other out. We'll both be, you know, near each other. We're best friends. So I'm like, yeah, you should try to get a house here. You're an hour away. It's not like it's that big of a difference. You should come here. So now she lives here. And there's no conversation, no nothing. And it took me being 34 years old and finally deciding that I'm done taking it. You know what I mean? Like, once you have me and my kids out walking for a mile on a fucking highway, that to me is that signifies the end. We're done. Because you have not just me, but you have my children out here in the heat, walking down the street on a fucking highway, trying to get somewhere so we can call and get us a goddamn cab. Like, that was the last straw for me. So now when I see her, usually there's no words exchanged, but sometimes she'll say something to somebody, you know, like somebody that she's with or that's around her. Oh, I can't stand these fake ass hoes or some shit like that. And I never respond because, first of all, one thing that anybody knows me will be able to attest to is that I'm real as a motherfucker. And if I'm for you, I'm for you. But once you make me move away from you, I'm gone for real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a glutton for punishment anymore. And I think that was what was going on when I was younger. Like, I just wanted some type of loyalty and stability. So it really didn't matter what people did to me. I still, you know, I was still drawn to them because I needed somebody. And it took me getting good and grown to realize the people that I need are my son and my daughter. If it's not those two people, I don't need you. Now, you know, other relatives, you know, a few sisters, mom, dad, stuff like that, I'm grateful to still have a part of my life. But the only motherfuckers that I need in my life right now is my son and my daughter. If you're not those two people, then you are constantly struggling for your place with me. Because my peace of mind, my calmness, my peace is the most important thing to me. So if I'm dealing with somebody that is so chaotic and hectic that they cannot be peaceful, then you got to get out around me. You got to move the fuck around. I need peace. I gotta have it. I really wanted to talk about these two topics today, you guys, because like I said, I'm so tired of having to confront a repeat situation. You know what I mean? Like, once I've addressed it once, I feel like I shouldn't have to continue to address it. But if I address it a second time, I feel like, okay, now you have a clear understanding of what it is that I need for you to do. So if there's a third time that I feel like you need counseling, I'm not giving it to you. I'm just going to step back and say, unfortunately, I can't fuck with you like that because you disturbed my peace. And not disturb my peace so much as I'm tired of giving more than I'm receiving in the situation. I'm tired of giving more love than I feel like I'm receiving. And I'm just tired, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking tired. So, yeah. I mean, I'm honestly really hoping that this relative takes a look at this video and understands that you can't keep taking advantage of somebody because you know that you can. And you can't keep asking for more from somebody than what you're willing to give. You know, I don't mind. I'll give my last, my very last for someone I love. And I've done it so many times. I've done it. Given my absolute last to someone that I love that was in need. But you can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're empty because no one is reciprocating the effort and the love that you're putting out there, it's time to look for some other options, some other alternatives. Because when love isn't returned, there is no love. And I'm really, honestly, to the point where I'm tired of even having to say certain things because I know the way it's going to be taken. And I know that there's going to be a period of time that I'm not going to speak to this person that I care about so much because this person can't stand confrontation and never wants to be wrong. So y'all tell me what y'all think about it. I want to know. You know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with relatives that take more than they give or that take advantage of your giving spirit? Y'all hit the comments and let me know. But for now, I'm going to say thank you so much for coming and tuning in and watching JoAnna's Point of View. There will be a lot more content that's going to be coming, you guys. I'm working with some more professional cameras now. I have my son who I am grooming into a professional cameraman at 8 years old. Yes, you're damn right. I have a lot of things that I want to do and I want to explore on this channel. So I just ask you guys to please enjoy, please subscribe, comment, and definitely come back. Because I have so much more content that I want to share with you guys. As a matter of fact, I'm actually getting ready to record my own theme song for my show. Yes, oh, she does music too. Y'all didn't know that? Yes, honey. I'm actually getting ready to record a theme song for my show. And hopefully next week, that'll be the introduction to this video. I'm adding things as I learn, you guys, and as I get better. But what they say, what you focus on is where your focus goes, your energy goes. So I want to make sure that I focus and dedicate my time to growing this channel because I love it so much. It's therapeutic for me. It's cathartic for me to be able to express these things really anonymously, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm speaking to a camera, not a whole room full of people. So it kind of makes it easier for me to talk about some things that are sometimes difficult. And sometimes just talking about the things actually helps. So I thank you guys for allowing me this platform and this opportunity to talk and discuss things that are going on in my life. And, you know, I try to keep a funny spin on it, but sometimes, you know, shit just ain't funny. You know what I mean? Sometimes there is nothing funny about a situation, like, bitch. it ain't nothing fun. But I try to keep it. I do try to keep it entertaining for you guys because I want y'all to enjoy the show and the content. And like I said, make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, IGTV at JoAnna_flows. Y'all subscribe to my YouTube page, JoAnna_. Nope, I take that back. It's JoAnna's, JoAnna_S POV, all in capitals, point of view, POV. That's my YouTube. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm getting ready to actually launch a new page for Facebook so that I can start, doing the a Facebook series as well. So there's a lot of things I have coming up, you guys, and there's a lot of things that I want to do and that I'm going to do with this show. So I appreciate you guys for being here now, and please continue to be there because it gets greater later. It's gonna get greater next week. So y'all stay here, okay? Stay in touch, and y'all be good to each other. And stay safe. This is JoAnna's point of view, and I'm out.